The upcoming Battlezone tournament will be using SBP, a community-made balanced patch. Most changes are quite minor and were aimed at reducing the number of useless tools and strategy. Now, almost every weapon and unit has a purpose and can be justified as a build in a serious match. Before I go further, the first and most important change was made to the hop-sniping mechanic. When exiting a vehicle, there's now a 3-second cooldown on the sniper rifle. I'll try to keep this video as short as possible by giving the broad strokes of some changes and by not stating the rationale for them. Instead, I'll provide those and all the specifics in a follow-up video. This video is simply intended to prepare players for the tournament with a quick reference guide. CCA scavengers no longer need to wait for their animations to finish when picking up scrap. The factory's radar now extends to 1000 meters instead of just 500 meters, putting it in line with the NSDF and BDogs. The rocket tank uses dual shadower, and the light tank uses sandbag linked with its tag cannon. The CCA gun tower can shoot up to 200 meters instead of just 156, and its bullets move faster. Blast cannon also received nerfs, but please see the weapons section for that. The NSDF has also received some buffs which were applied to the other factions too, such as the turrets and mine layers, but they also have an improved walker which fires dual SP stabber instead of AT stabber. This change was also applied to the BDogs. Please see the unit section for more details on changes that apply to multiple factions. The Red Odyssey factions have been tweaked to make them balanced against the stock factions. They can now be considered acceptable in serious matches. Most of the CRA's units now move slower than the other factions. Cloak has been completely disabled. The CRA has also had the Scavenger's animation removed, same as the CCA. The 1000 meter factory radar range has also been applied to the CRA, so now all factions have 500 meter radar from the recycler, 1000 meter radar from the factory, and the Scavengers pick up scrap instantly. Additionally, the CRA's tank now costs 12 scrap and builds in 15 seconds. These changes are also applied to the BDogs. The heavy tank now costs 16 scrap and builds in 20 seconds. The rocket tank uses dual shadower, and the light tank uses sandbag linked with its tag cannon. Both of these changes are also applied to the CCA. And finally, the CRA gun tower fires a single CP stabber, and the silo is 30% smaller. The BDogs received a 25% hull reduction to most of their units, but they're also now more agile and they move faster. Their tank costs 12 and builds in 15 seconds, with the splinter being removed. The recycler also has its radar changed from 1000 meters down to 500 meters, which brings it in line with the rest of the factions. Further changes to them include the BDog rocket tank, which now fires Hornet and Shadower together, like the NSDF one does, but it also has MDM mortar and thumper as alternative weapons. The Red Devil uses a single rocket bomb with just 10 shots, and lastly, mass grenade has been removed from the game. As previously mentioned, BDog walkers fire dual SP stabber now instead of AT, but they also have that 25% hull reduction. However, in turn they do move faster now. It also goes without saying that the Scarlet Git can no longer cloak. All turrets except the BDogs have had their hull increased, and they all now fire 2 miniguns or chain guns. NSDF and BDog Sasquatches use SP stabber instead of AT. All light tanks build in 6 seconds instead of 7, and for APCs, soldiers have half the hull and 1/3 of the ammo capacity, which means that one mortar will kill all 5 soldiers if it's placed correctly. Mine layers now benefit from improved prox mines, which deal greater damage, have more hull, and expire in 10 minutes instead of just 5 minutes. Supplies and hangars were significantly buffed. They now regenerate all units within 75 meters of them instead of just one at a time, at a range of 50 meters. Supplies also regenerate 2 times faster and hangars 3 times faster. All comm towers have had their radar range increased from 500 meters to 1000 meters with a 2-second refresh rate. This adds some new functionality to the game, where comm towers can be placed to upgrade radar coverage around the map. As mentioned in the CCA section, the blast cannon received some significant nerfs. It now costs 8 to build instead of 4, and its ammo cost was almost doubled. This means a SAR tank now only has 6 dual blast shots instead of 10. CCA and CRA Walker's ammo capacity was increased to balance this out, so they still have a total of 16 shots. AT Stabber and Mag Cannon both now cost 2 instead of 4, and the first 4 charges of Mag move a lot faster. These are the blue and orange shots, which makes it a lot easier to hit at range. Flash Cannon received some major buffs as well. It costs 3 instead of 5 scrap. Its range was increased a bit from 90 to 100 meters, and its ammo cost has been halved, so that a Grizzly with dual flash can kill a recycler with 25% of its ammo remaining. Sandbag's projectile moves faster with a stronger anchoring effect, but the delay between shots was doubled. Tag Cannon's projectiles also now move faster. The pop gun can lock onto targets from a greater distance, up to around 150 to 200 meters. Its projectile moves faster, and it deals more damage. Redfield had a reduction in ammo consumption rate by 25%, and for Phantom VIR and Sight Camera it was reduced by 50%. Some maps have also been tweaked for balancing purposes, in minor ways so as not to change the dynamic nor the personality of the maps. Starting with Ice Ice Baby, its outer walls are raised so that they cannot be climbed. Theatre of Pain now only has a north and a south spawn for 1v1s, no longer the east or west ones, and the Big Venus map has a more symmetrical scrap placement. Geysers in the corner of that map now come in pairs. For Blast Chamber, all of its walls were also raised. The north section was mirrored onto the south, and the east and the west areas now have 6 geysers and some more balanced scrap placement. Purgatory also had its walls raised. Some scrap was moved from mid to north and south, and scrap was moved around so that both directions from spawn were viable, rather than having to remember or check which way. The total scrap count was increased slightly from 150 to 180. Lastly, Moonscape has more scrap in the spawns and around the outside of the map. Its northwest and southeast corners have 2 geysers now instead of 1. Its total scrap was increased from 250 to 258, and its total geysers were increased from 14 to 16. Felix Venus has its northwest and east of mid spawns removed, so that players only spawn around the edges of the map. Path 3 was given 3 extra geysers around the outside of the map and plus 20 scrap per spawn, for a total of plus 60 to the map. Those are all the changes made in SBP in a concise format. Like I said previously, I'll make a video giving the specific changes and data values, as well as the reasons for the changes soon. To everyone in the tournament, good luck and have fun.